This video will explain how open access is disrupting the funding model in the scholarly communication landscape. This is the third in a series of short videos created by the university libraries that will examine different aspects of open access. We encourage you to review them all. To begin, permit us to review a little. Open access aims for the free availability and unrestricted use of scholarly articles in order to encourage wider readership and reuse. Readers often footed the costs of accessing journals, making them cost prohibitive for individuals without institutional access. To make articles more openly available, yet still bring in revenue, publishers are shifting the cost of access from the reader to the author. This is done via article processing charges or publication fees. If you immediately think, that's vanity publishing, I encourage you to go back and listen to the second video in this series. If we're being asked to pay to publish, how much money are we talking about? In 2012, the North Texas University Library completed a study that examined the costs associated with open access publishing. In the report, the author included this chart examining the fees of 12 hybrid journal publishers, ranging from a few $100s for Springer to more than $5,000 for Elsevier and Nature Publishing Group. Most publishers assign different fees to different journals under their umbrellas. When you see fees running in the thousands of dollars, the next question is, who will pay for that? Right now, the cost of these article publishing fees is still being negotiated. Funding agencies, institutions, and authors may pay depending on the situation. Super has noted that for the most part, authors aren't expected to cover these fees, but that means we need to be proactive about getting others to cover them for us. To start, grant applicants can write article processing charges into their proposals. Biomed Central, a UK-based open access publisher, maintains a list of agencies that allow you to write these costs into grants. In the United States, those agencies include the National Institutes of Health, National Science Foundation, and Rockefeller Foundation. Funders can request that both the article and the datasets be openly available. This ties into the need for an institutional repository, which we discuss in a later video. Usually, the funding agency can tell you what their requirements are for open access publishing. But if you don't know, you can use the Sherpa Juliet site. Based in the United Kingdom, this site organizes the open access mandates of agencies from around the world. Their policies include both what you have to do with the publications and with any data stemming from your investigation. Notice this screenshot from Sherpa Juliet that examines the publications policies of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. As of January 1st, 2015, the Gates Foundation is requiring that you publish in a peer-reviewed open access journal or as an article in a traditional journal with paid-for open access or gold open access. This mandate applies to all projects that are totally or even partly funded by the foundation. And they're going to allow publishers to have kind of a grace period for 2 years in which they can put an embargo on the publication, but they will no longer have that option available after 2017. If a funding agency won't pay for the cost, institutions might foot the bill for open access publishing. 50+ universities nationwide have set up funds or procedures to assist authors with the publishing fees. As of 2014, nearly 4,000 papers were funded this way at a cost of more than $2.2 million. Most schools that are creating an application process that runs similar to their grant application. The funds are often run out of libraries or CISR-type organizations. We can debate whether this should be a university-level initiative or whether it's something to leave up to departments or colleges here at Murray State. At the moment, some areas of the university will be more affected by this than others. The sciences in particular have seen tremendous growth in article processing charges and open access publishing. Another issue is that these costs are going to be unpredictable. If we set aside funds for each department, what do we do with leftover funds at the end of the year? As part of a strategic initiative on scholarship, research, and creative thought, we might want to consider how funding for article publication fees fits into the university's long-term financial plan. If these fees aren't covered at the institutional level, the costs are going to fall to deans, department chairs, or even individual authors. Administrators should begin preparing for the possibility of having to cover these funding requests and track the costs over time. Researchers who believe strongly in their work might cover them out of pocket. Indeed, some authors at this university have already elected to do that. Some publications have fees as low as $150, or even some are free. So consider shopping your article around to get a lower fee or negotiate with the original publisher. Keep in mind that discounts are sometimes available if the library subscribes to the journal or belongs to a consortium. Ask your college's librarian if you need to determine your eligibility for a discount. And if you're collaborating with a researcher from another institution, have him or her check to see if that institution has a fund or will share the cost. We see this video series as the start of a conversation. We hope you begin discussing with your colleagues, department chairs, and tenure and promotion committees how open access fits into your discipline. You may want to review the other videos in this series to understand the issue in its entirety. Several members of the University Libraries collaborated to produce this video series. Any of us would be delighted to answer open access questions for individuals, to facilitate discussions with departments, or to introduce the topic to graduate students in research methods courses. I'm Elizabeth Price, and on behalf of my colleagues, I want to thank you for your time.